Well, it's Monday. I'm on the phone with head football coach Mark Arnold from MDI High School. Coach, it's Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day. There's no school, but that doesn't stop the coaches from the football team from working.
Nope, we've been right back at it. This was our Saturday game, and so I know as we left the field, I told them we'd be right back at it on Sunday, and we're looking forward to a good week. We're coming back home for homecoming, and hope to heal up a bit this week and get at it again.
Are the boys practicing today? What is the practice schedule for the week?
Yep, we'll practice today, same time as normal. We're going to go 3 to 5:30 today, and just get right back into our schedule.
It's hard with the good thing on a Saturday or having that Saturday game is it gives you an extra day for practice. Conversely, the bad thing is with one less day for rest and recovery, because normally that would happen on Saturday, and in fact they played Saturday, so those bumps and bruises just carry on into this week.
Right, you don't get that extra day, of rest for the kids, and so it's a little less time preparing as coaches. But the big thing is, especially we had a few bumps and bruises in this last game, and so we're kind of going into today, not being in school in the morning either. It's nice when you're at least in school on Monday, and you can get the kids ice and see how they're doing from the game, and so we're kind of going into practice today. I've been sending out messages, checking more on the weekend about where we're at, and but you kind of go into Monday like this when you don't have school, and who's going to be there? Do they show up on time? All that stuff.
Right. It's a little bit of blindness. That as a coach, you like to be able to control everything you can control, and not having the kids in school today, that's just adds to an uncontrollable thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And really the kids, our players, a lot of them eat lunch in my room, and usually by the time we hit the field on Monday, we've already watched some tape with the kids, and I've talked to them. I can get a sense of where they're at. If we had to take care of anything, we get that done. But today we'll just walk in and see where they're at. But we'll get going. And like I said, I sent out some messages, so I kind of have an idea at least what we were thinking coming out of the last game in terms of anybody who had something we had to take care of.
Okay, so probably a disappointing loss to Nokomis. Things started out great. I mean, you won the toss, deferred, stopped them, marched down the field, scored, and then things kind of went the other way. Yep,
we got off to a good start, and really throughout the entire first half, we moved the ball well. We just had some trouble. They have some quick kids on their team. I told you last week that they were similar in certain ways to what we saw at Herman. Good skilled players and a good quarterback, and I just thought that for us defensively, we really didn't see exactly what we thought that we would right off, but we certainly knew that they would throw the football, and they did that, as well as run the ball outside, and we just made some errors early in the game and had a couple of kids who got bumped up, and our adjustments were, with our numbers, yesterday was kind of the first time we ran into an issue where we had a number of kids who had, they weren't significant injuries, but, where they had to come out of the game, and it caused us to move some people around, and that just made it difficult for us, especially defensively.
And you had great pressure on Andrew Henning, the quarterback, flushed him out a couple times, and a couple times it looked like he was going to go down for a sack, but he just either was able to throw the ball away or escape and run the ball a little bit.
Yeah, we've made a couple of adjustments last week. We've had some kids come along this season, and they had gotten to the point where they were starting the football game. We have two kids up front, Eric Merchant, who came out, about halfway through the season. He came out for our football team, and then we have another sophomore who's out for his first season, Jackson Laws, who both of them were playing on the defensive line starting for the first game, and that added some speed up front for us that was really helpful. And we were getting pressure on the quarterback, but and the one thing about if you have a quarterback who, can throw and run is you kind of get into that situation where it's great getting to him, but you got to contain him as well.
Right.
And so it was nice just to get to the quarterback yesterday because that's something we didn't do against Herman well. So that was an improvement for us. But like you say, this is a good quarterback, and he's able to either get the ball off or, make adjustments with his feet and run the ball.
And again, there's some defensive issues in terms of containing pass, but it's tough when you've got Chance Graves, and there was a mismatch in terms of size, height-wise, against a defensive back. I mean, Hayden could just toss the ball up there and he can go up and get it.
Yeah, right. They had, again, a couple of good skilled players. We had a freshman starting. We had a couple of kids go down. And we're young in the secondary. That's the group defensively that we replaced entirely from last season. And we've had a group of sophomores in there and trying to rotate guys through and figure out what's the best combination there for us. And they're getting better, but they struggle against good talent.
Nice to see, well, as you mentioned, Eric Merchant, who came on in relief carrying the ball and scored the final touchdown for MDI.
Right. That was definitely a bright spot for us, and we've had high hopes. We were really excited when Eric came out, and he's a really good athlete. He plays basketball and is a good-sized kid for us, and he's only a junior, so we'll have him for another year. So there's a lot of positives, and we were, like I say, excited when he came out, and I know he was excited to play yesterday, and on Saturday, and it was nice to see him do well, help build his confidence. Yeah.
So let's talk about the week ahead. What do you obviously got to get everybody healed up? It's homecoming. There'll be a lot of excitement in the school with the various activities, and it seems longer than 2 weeks ago that there's a home game on the island.
Yeah, it really does. These have been a couple of long weeks for us. Not good scores for us as far as outcomes, but we're really glad this is our last home football game. It'll not only be homecoming, but it'll be parents' night, so there's a lot going on. But I know our kids are, even, coming back after the game, they've had that kind of attitude all year. Really, it hasn't been hard to get them back to work, and I know that they know that we've gone through a tough stretch of 4 games here, and they're excited about coming back home and doing well this week.
The John Bapst Crusaders coming in, they're also 1-5, but they're a very dangerous 1-5. They put up quite a few points throughout the season.
Yeah, they're a well-coached team. I think that they have some young athletes as well on their team this year. But watching tape on them at this point, we've seen several of their games, and they certainly have some kids that can move the ball in space, and so we'll have to prepare and be ready for a good football game this Friday.
Yeah, just looking at their results, they put up 34 points in a loss to Old Town. They put up 34 points in a loss to Yarmouth, and then in their win, they put up 31 points against Belfast. So they can score.
Yep, definitely. They have a good running back. They have a couple of good receivers. They actually have a couple of kids in the backfield. They run a spread offense, and they have a couple of guys in the wing positions as well as the kid who's in the backfield for them. And they do a nice job if they get in space. They're shifty and they're quick.
All right, well, we're cut out. So a normal week, and let's talk on Friday. And Friday, what we'll do is we'll talk about the seniors as it's senior recognition night, parent night there on the island, and we'll give a minute or two to each of the seniors.
That sounds good, Chris.
All right, Coach.
We'll look forward to talking to you at the end of the week.
All right, thanks. Have a good week.
All right, you too, Chris.